Thursday, June 18th, 2026. Today's World News Headline Summary. 1. CNN. 1. Leaked Iran agreement contradicts Trump's claims about post-war aid. The United States and Iran have signed a 14-point Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, aimed at imposing a minimum 60-day ceasefire and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. This landmark document sets the foundation for an immediate and permanent end to the war on all fronts. President Donald Trump has publicly asserted that the agreement's primary achievement is ensuring Iran will never acquire a nuclear weapon. However, leaked details reveal that the MOU lacks robust enforcement mechanisms for nuclear disarmament, primarily relying on Iran's renewed pledge not to develop such weapons. Analysts suggest the administration is strategically emphasizing the nuclear angle to justify the war's conclusion to the American public. The reopening of the strait is anticipated to bring substantial relief to global energy markets. Vocabulary. Impose. Verb. 도입하다, 부과하다. The UN decided to impose strict sanctions on the nation. Ceasefire. Noun. 휴전. A temporary ceasefire was declared for humanitarian reasons. Assert. Verb. 주장하다. He continued to assert his innocence during the trial. Acquire. Verb. 획득하다, 얻다. The company plans to acquire a smaller tech startup. Enforcement. Noun. 집행, 강제. Law enforcement officers arrived at the scene quickly. Disarmament. Noun. 군축, 무장 해제. The treaty focuses on global nuclear disarmament. Pledge. Noun. 약속, 맹세. The president made a pledge to reduce greenhouse gases. Substantial. Adjective. 상당한, 실질적인. There was a substantial increase in online sales this year. 시사용어 해설. Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, 양해각서. 정식 조약이나 계약을 맺기 전 양측이 합의한 내용의 뼈대를 기록한 외교 비즈니스 문서입니다. 인포스먼트 메커니즘, 집행장치. 합의된 규칙이나 법률이 실제로 지켜지도록 강제하는 물리적, 법적 수단이나 감시 체계를 의미합니다. 1-2. U.S. regulators block advanced AI chips to China. U.S. regulators recently approved the sale of specific advanced AI chips to Chinese companies, but Chinese authorities have strictly forbidden domestic AI firms from purchasing them. This retaliatory move follows years of U.S. efforts to restrict China's access to frontier American technology. As a direct consequence of this technological decoupling, U.S. firms are rapidly losing their historic dominance in the lucrative Chinese chip market. Industry experts caution that prioritizing geopolitical containment over trade could jeopardize the revenue U.S. companies need to fund future innovation. Policymakers are urged to carefully balance national security concerns with the preservation of global market advantages. Vocabulary. Forbid. Verb. 금지하다. The school rules strictly forbid running in the hallways. Retaliatory. Adjective. 보복적인. The government announced retaliatory tariffs on imported goods. Frontier. Adjective. 최첨단의, 미개척의. The lab conducts research in frontier medical sciences. Consequence. Noun. 결과. Global warming is a direct consequence of carbon emissions. Dominance. Noun. 지배, 우위. The tech giant maintains its dominance in the search engine market. Lucrative. Adjective. 수익성이 좋은. He gave up his lucrative career to pursue his passion. Containment. Noun. 억제, 봉쇄. The military strategy focused on the containment of enemy forces. Jeopardize. Verb. 위태롭게 하다. A bad diet can jeopardize your overall health. 시사용어 해설. Technological decoupling. 기술적 탈동조화. 두 국가, 주로 미국과 중국과 서로 얽혀있던 기술 공급망과 산업 표준을 끊어내고 각자 독자적인 기술 생태계를 구축하려는 현상을 말합니다. Geopolitical containment, 지정학적 봉쇄. 경쟁 국가가 군사적, 경제적, 기술적으로 세력을 확장하지 못하도록 주변 동맹국들과 협력하여 억누르는 외교 안보 전략입니다. 113. House Democrats question FBI director over slush fund allegations. House Democrats have launched a formal inquiry into FBI Director Kash Patel, accusing him of misusing the Bureau's budget as a personal slush fund. According to a sharply worded letter from lawmakers, Patel allegedly authorized over $1 million in unlawful bonus payments to loyalist agents serving on his director's advisory team. Critics have dubbed this group the Payback Squad for their reported willingness to aggressively pursue political targets. The controversy highlights deep partisan divides, with Democrats arguing that highly qualified career agents were unlawfully terminated to clear the path for these partisan loyalists. Patel's administration of the FBI continues to face intense congressional and public scrutiny over perceived politicization. Vocabulary. Inquiry. Noun. 조사, 수사. The committee launched an independent inquiry into the accident. Misuse. Verb. 오용하다, 남용하다. The official was arrested for misusing public funds. Allegedly. Adverb. 전하는 바에 따르면, 혐의를 받는. The man allegedly stole confidential documents from the office. Loyalist. Noun. 충성파. The dictator surrounded himself with loyalists. Aggressively. Adverb. 공격적으로, 적극적으로. The company is aggressively marketing its new product. Partisan. Adjective. 당파적인, 편파적인. The bill failed to pass due to deep partisan conflicts. Terminate. Verb. 해고하다, 끝내다. Her contract was terminated due to poor performance. Scrutiny. Noun. 정밀조사, 감시. The budget plan came under intense public scrutiny. 시사용어 해설. Slush fund, 비자금. 조직의 장이나 정치인이 공식적인 회계장부에 기록하지 않고 불법적이거나 은밀한 목적, 정치자금, 뇌물 등으로 몰래 사용하는 자금입니다. Partisan divide, 당파적 분열. 여당과 야당 등 정치적 신념이 다른 집단 간에 타협 없이 극심하게 대립하고 나뉘는 현상을 말합니다.
2. BBC 21. Britain announces sweeping social media ban for under 16s. The UK government has officially announced a sweeping ban on social media platforms, including TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram, for users under the age of 16. Scheduled to take full effect by spring 2027, the legislation requires service providers to deploy robust age verification tools to block underage accounts. Proponents cite overwhelming public support, noting that highly addictive algorithms are directly linked to rising rates of adolescent depression and sleep deprivation. Conversely, digital rights advocates warn that an outright ban may inadvertently deprive teenagers of essential digital literacy skills. They also fear that isolated youth might seek out darker, unregulated corners of the internet to communicate. Vocabulary. Sweeping. Adjective. 전면적인, 광범위한. The president announced sweeping changes to the healthcare system. Implement. Verb. 시행하다. We need to implement a new strategy to boost sales. Robust. Adjective. 강력한. 탄탄한. The system requires a robust security mechanism to prevent hacking. Addictive. Adjective. 중독성 있는. Video games are designed to be highly addictive. Deprivation. Noun. 부족. 박탈. Sleep deprivation can cause serious health problems. Inadvertently. Adverb. 의도치 않게. 무심코. I inadvertently deleted the crucial file from my computer. Deprive. Verb. 빼앗다. 박탈하다. The dictator tried to deprive citizens of their basic rights. Unregulated. Adjective. 규제받지 않는. The cryptocurrency market remains largely unregulated. 시사용어 해설. Age verification tools. 연령 인증 도구. 사용자의 나이를 확인하기 위해 신분증 스캔, 생체 인식 또는 제3의 인증기관 데이터를 활용하는 IT 보안 시스템입니다. Digital literacy. 디지털 리터러시. 디지털 기기와 인터넷 환경에서 정보를 비판적으로 이해하고 안전하게 소통하며 창조적으로 활용할 수 있는 능력입니다. 2.2. Stepson of Norway's crown princess jailed for 4 years in prison by the Oslo District Court. After a highly publicized 7-week trial, he was found guilty of 34 out of 40 criminal charges, including 2 counts of rape, domestic violence, and drug possession. Hobie had previously admitted to certain charges, like aggravated assault, but consistently pleaded not guilty to rape. The court also ordered him to pay substantial punitive damages to the victims. This unprecedented scandal has significantly tarnished the reputation of the Norwegian royal family, amplifying national debates regarding the monarchy's continued relevance. Vocabulary. Stepson. Noun. 의붓아들. He treats his stepson with deep affection. Publicized. Adjective. 대중에게 널리 알려진. The trial was highly publicized across all major news outlets. Count. Noun. 법적 혐의 항목. She was found guilty on 3 counts of fraud. Aggravated. Adjective. 범죄가 가중된, 심각한. He was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Consistently. Adverb. 유관되게. The politician has consistently denied the allegations. Punitive. Adjective. 징벌적인, 처벌을 위한. The judge awarded punitive damages to deter future negligence. Unprecedented. Adjective. 전례 없는. The pandemic caused economic disruptions on an unprecedented scale. Tarnish. Verb. 영성을 더럽히다. The corruption scandal deeply tarnished his reputation. 시사용어 해설. 징벌적 손해배상. 가해자의 행위가 악의적이고 반사회적일 때 단순한 피해 보상을 넘어 가해자에게 무거운 처벌을 내리고 타인에게 경고하기 위해 부과하는 막대한 액수의 배상금입니다. monarchy. 군주제. 왕이나 여왕 등 세습되는 군주가 국가의 상징이나 원수 역할을 하는 정치 체제입니다. 2-3. Ukraine begins EU membership talks amidst Russian strikes. Ukraine has officially commenced the first phase of its membership negotiations with the European Union, marking a profound geopolitical milestone. This diplomatic breakthrough coincides with a brutal wave of Russian airstrikes across the country, which recently killed 9 people and severely damaged historical landmarks in Kyiv. Despite facing relentless bombardments and devastating infrastructural damage, the Ukrainian leadership remains resolute in its mission to integrate fully with Western democratic institutions. European officials praised Kyiv's unwavering determination to implement necessary legal and economic reforms amidst a full-scale war. This bold step serves as a definitive rejection of Russian influence and a commitment to a European future. Vocabulary. Commence. Verb. 시작하다. The opening ceremony will commence at 8 p.m. Profound. Adjective. 깊은. 엄청난. The book had a profound impact on my understanding of history. Breakthrough. Noun. 돌파구. Scientists have achieved a major breakthrough in cancer research. Coincide. Verb. 동시에 일어나다. My business trip coincides with our anniversary. Relentless. Adjective. 끈질긴. 가차없는. The army advanced under relentless enemy fire. Bombardment. Noun.
폭격, 포격. The city was reduced to ruins after heavy aerial bombardment. Resolute, adjective. 확고한, 단호한. She remained resolute in her decision to pursue art. Unwavering, adjective. 변함없는, 흔들림 없는. He has shown unwavering support for the charity. 시사용어 해설. EU membership negotiations. EU 가입 협상. 후보국이 EU의 기준, 인권, 법치주의, 시장경제 등에 부합하도록 자국의 법과 제도를 고치는 길고 까다로운 과정입니다. 챕터별로 심사를 통과해야 최종 가입이 승인됩니다.
3. ABC Australia. 3-1. Pauline Hanson aims to cut the SBS and paywall the ABC. One Nation leader Pauline Hanson has ignited a fierce political debate by declaring her intent to abolish the public broadcaster SBS entirely. During a speech at the National Press Club, she also proposed that the primary public network, the ABC, be placed behind a subscription paywall for all viewers outside rural and remote areas. Hanson argued that the internet has made SBS obsolete and aggressively accused the ABC of harboring profound political bias and activism. Media unions and press freedom advocates swiftly condemned her proposals, labeling them a direct assault on democratic journalism and public access to independent information. Vocabulary. Ignite. Verb. 조마하다. 촉발하다. His controversial remarks ignited a fierce debate online. Abolish. Verb. 폐지하다. Many activists are fighting to abolish the death penalty. Subscription. Noun. 구독, 구독료. I canceled my magazine subscription to save money. Obsolete. Adjective. 구시계, 쓸모없는. Floppy disks became obsolete with the invention of USB drives. Harbor. Verb. 생각 등을 품다. She continues to harbor a deep resentment towards her boss. Bias. Noun. 편향, 선입견. The journalist was accused of showing a strong political bias. Condemn. Verb. 규탄하다, 비난하다. The international community condemned the unprovoked attack. Assault. Noun. 공격, 폭행. The editorial was seen as an assault on free speech. 시사용어 해설. 페이월. 온라인 기사나 영상 등 디지털 콘텐츠를 무료로 보여주지 않고 돈을 지불한 정기 구독자에게만 접근을 허용하는 지불 장벽입니다. 공영방송. 국가나 공공의 이익을 위해 운영되는 방송국으로 호주의 ABC와 SBS, 영국의 BBC, 한국의 KBS 등이 있습니다. 3-2. Childcare worker pay rise receives official funding boost. The Australian federal government has officially confirmed the allocation of new funding to support a crucial pay rise for childcare workers. Education Minister Jason Clare highlighted that early childhood educators perform vital work for society and deserve equitable financial compensation. This significant wage boost is strategically designed to address the severe staff shortages that have increasingly plagued the early learning sector. By improving financial incentives and working conditions, the government aims to attract and retain highly qualified professionals in the field. Consequently, working families are expected to benefit from a more stable workforce and enhanced quality of care for their children. Vocabulary. Allocation. Noun. 할당, 배정. The budget allocation for education was increased this year. Equitable. Adjective. 공평한, 정당한. Employees are demanding an equitable distribution of profits. Compensation. Noun. 보상, 급여. The injured worker received full financial compensation. Shortage. Noun. 부족. The hospital is dealing with a severe shortage of nurses. Plague. Verb. 괴롭히다. Constant injuries have plagued the athlete's career. Incentive. Noun. 장려금, 유인책. The bonus acts as a strong incentive for higher sales. Retain. Verb. 유지하다, 보유하다. It is crucial for tech companies to retain their top talent. Stable. Adjective. 안정적인. He is looking for a job with a stable income. 시사용어 해설. Wage boost. 임금 인상.
노동자들의 시급이나 월급을 올리는 정책입니다. 정부가 민간 보육교사들의 임금을 지원하는 이유는 보육이 국가의 핵심적인 사회 인프라이기 때문입니다.
Number 3. SA Electoral Commissioner steps down amid election review. Mick Sherry, South Australia's electoral commissioner, has abruptly resigned from his pivotal role. His departure occurs amid an ongoing comprehensive review into the management of the state and voice elections held earlier in March. The Electoral Commission had been heavily criticized for administrative missteps and logistical bottlenecks that frustrated voters. Acknowledging the need for a total systemic overhaul and the current leadership vacuum, the state government is rapidly introducing legislation to delay the upcoming local council elections until next April. This strategic postponement provides officials with essential time to implement reforms and restore public trust in the democratic process. Vocabulary. Abruptly, adverb, 돌연, 갑자기. The meeting ended abruptly when the fire alarm went off. Pivotal, adjective, 중추적인, 중요한. Agriculture plays a pivotal role in the country's economy. Comprehensive, adjective, 포괄적인, 종합적인. The clinic offers comprehensive health checkups. Misstep, noun, 실수, 잘못된 조치. A single political misstep ruined his chances of winning. Bottleneck, noun, 병목 현상, 정체. Heavy traffic caused a massive bottleneck on the highway. Overhaul, noun, 전면적인 점검, 개편. The education system needs a complete overhaul. Vacuum, noun, 공백, 진고. Her retirement left a noticeable leadership vacuum in the office. Postponement, noun, 연기. The continuous rain led to the postponement of the outdoor concert. 시사용어 해설. Electoral Commissioner, 선거관리위원장. 국가나 지역의 선거가 부정 없이 공정하고 원활하게 치러질 수 있도록 총괄 관리하는 독립기관의 책임자입니다. Overhaul, 전면 개편. 기계의 엔진을 완전히 분해해서 수리하듯 어떤 조직이나 제도를 근본적으로 뜯어고치는 것을 말합니다. 4. The Korea Times. 4.1. Korea weighs role in post-war Hormuz security initiatives. The South Korean government has initiated rigorous consultations with both the United States and Iran regarding safe maritime navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Following the signing of a preliminary peace deal, Washington has signaled the lifting of its naval counter-blockade, potentially allowing toll-free transit. This diplomatic shift is crucial for Seoul, as roughly 24 Korea-linked commercial vessels have been stranded in the region due to the conflict. Officials emphasized that safeguarding the lives of Korean sailors and ensuring secure shipping lanes remain their paramount priorities. Currently, the government is carefully weighing what constructive role it can play in future post-war security initiatives to maintain regional stability. Vocabulary. Rigorous. Adjective. 엄격한, 철저한. The safety tests for the new vehicle are very rigorous. Maritime. Adjective. 바다에, 해운에. The country heavily relies on its maritime trade network. Transit. Noun. 통과, 수송. The cargo was damaged during its transit across the ocean. Stranded. Adjective. 발이 묶인, 고립된. Thousands of passengers were stranded at the airport due to snow. Safeguard. Verb. 보호하다. New laws were passed to safeguard consumers from fraud. Paramount. Adjective. 가장 중요한, 최고의. Safety is of paramount importance in this factory. Weigh. Verb. 결정을 위해 심사숙고하다. The CEO weighed the pros and cons of the merger. Constructive. Adjective. 건설적인. The manager provided constructive feedback to his team. 시사용어 해설. Strait of Hormuz, 호르무즈 해협. 중동 페르시아만의 입구에 있는 좁은 바닷길입니다. 전 세계 원유 물동량이 약 20%가 이곳을 지나기 때문에 이곳이 막히면 전 세계 경제에 엄청난 타격을 줍니다. Initiative, 이니셔티브. 특정한 목적, 해상안전 확보를 달성하기 위해 여러 국가가 모여 내놓는 새로운 주도적 계획이나 연합체를 뜻합니다.
4.2. IEA sees significant 2027 oil surplus after Hormuz recovery.
The International Energy Agency, IEA, projects that the global oil market will shift into a significant supply surplus by the year 2027. This highly optimistic forecast is heavily driven by the expected recovery of commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz following the recent U.S.-Iran peace accords. With the geopolitical choke point reopened, an immense backlog of crude oil is projected to flood the international market. The IEA anticipates that this massive influx of supply will easily outpace the current trajectory of global energy demand. Consequently, economists predict a considerable drop in crude prices, bringing much-needed relief to inflation-weary industries and consumers worldwide.
Project. Verb. 예측하다. The central bank projects a 3% economic growth this year. Surplus. Noun. 잉여, 공급 과잉. The agricultural sector produced a huge surplus of wheat. Optimistic. Adjective. 낙관적인. Investors are optimistic about the upcoming technological boom. Choke point. Noun. 전략적 요충지, 병목. The canal is a crucial maritime choke point for trade. Backlog. Noun. 밀린 일, 재고. It will take weeks to clear the backlog of unread emails. Influx. Noun. 유입, 쇄도. A sudden influx of refugees put a strain on the border town. Outpace. Verb. 앞지르다, 능가하다. Demand for electric vehicles continues to outpace supply. Weary. Adjective. 지친, 실증난. Consumers are growing weary of the continuous price hikes. 시사 용어 해설. Supply surplus, 공급 과잉. 시장에서 사람들이 사고자 하는 양, 수요보다 기업들이 팔고자 내놓는 양, 공급이 훨씬 많은 상태입니다. 이 현상이 지속되면 물건의 가격, 유가는 하락하게 됩니다. IEA, 국제에너지기구. 1970년대 석유 파동 이후 석유 소비국들이 에너지 안보를 굳건히 하고 정책을 공동으로 협의하기 위해 만든 국제기구입니다.
4.3. Internal power struggle stirs up ruling DPK. The ruling Democratic Party of Korea, DPK, is visibly unraveling as it grapples with a severe internal power struggle. Following the recent local elections, public approval ratings for both the DPK and President Lee Jae-myung have experienced a noticeable slump. This sharp downturn has triggered intense factional friction, with growing choruses of critics demanding the current leadership take absolute responsibility and step down. The escalating political discord highlights deepening structural divisions within the party as it hastily prepares for a crucial national convention in August. Pundits sternly warn that this internal rift will ultimately erode the administration's capacity to pass vital economic revitalization bills. Vocabulary. Unravel. Verb. 풀리다. 와해되다. The poorly planned project quickly began to unravel. Grapple. Verb. 웜와 시름하다. 고심하다. The city is grappling with an escalating homeless crisis. Slump. Noun. 침체. 하락. The auto industry experienced a severe sales slump last year. Factional. Adjective. 당파에 파벌에. Factional infighting destroyed the political party from within. Friction. Noun. 마찰, 갈등. Constant friction between the managers hurt team morale. Discord. Noun. 불화, 불협화음. Marital discord can have a negative impact on children. Pundit. Noun. 전문가, 권위자. Political pundits predict a very close election outcome. Erode. Verb. 약화시키다, 침식하다. Inflation continues to erode the purchasing power of consumers. 시사 용어 해설. Factional friction, 계파 갈등. 같은 정당 내에서도 정치적 이념이나 이익을 같이 하는 소그룹, 계파들이 서로 권력을 잡기 위해 부딪히며 싸우는 것을 말합니다. National Convention, 전당대회. 당의 대표나 대통령 후보 등 최고 지도부를 선출하기 위해 전국에서 당원 대표들이 모이는 정당의 가장 큰 정치 행사입니다. 5. The Korea Herald. 5-1-1. President Lee posts Trump selfie, reveals golf invitation. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung revealed that U.S. President Donald Trump proposed playing golf together during their diplomatic encounters at the G7 summit in France. Upon flying back to Seoul, Lee uploaded a remarkably friendly selfie with Trump to his official X account. The South Korean leader wrote that the two engaged in a deep 90-minute conversation, concentrating on the strength of South Korea-U.S. relations and maintaining peace on the Korean peninsula. Demonstrating warm rapport, Trump even gifted Lee the personal pen he uses for official signings. Observers note that this relaxed, interpersonal exchange heavily underscores the robust, unshakable alliance between the two nations. Vocabulary. Encounter. Noun. 만남. 조. My encounter with the famous author was truly inspiring. Upload. Verb. 업로드하다. He uploaded the video to his social media account. Friendly. Adjective. 다정한, 우호적인. The locals were very friendly to the foreign tourists. Engage in. Phrase. 뭐뭐에 참여하다. The students engaged in a passionate discussion about climate. Bilateral. Adjective. 양자간이. The two countries successfully signed a bilateral trade pact. Rapport. Noun. 친밀한 관계. 유대. She quickly established a good rapport with her new clients. Observer. Noun. 관측통. 관찰자. Political observers believe the new policy will face strong opposition. Underscore. Verb. 강조하다. 분명히 보여주다. The recent data underscores the need for immediate action. 시사용어 해설. Bilateral relations. 양자관계. 두 국가 사이의 정치적, 경제적, 군사적 교류 관계를 뜻합니다. 반면 여러 나라가 다 함께 모여 협력하는 것은 다자관계, multilateral relations라고 합니다. 5-2. Seoul tops global ranking of most walkable cities. Seoul has officially been crowned the world's most walkable city for the year 2026, surpassing renowned global tourist destinations like New York City and Edinburgh. A prominent British travel and culture publication highly praised the South Korean capital for its exceptional pedestrian infrastructure and stringent safety measures. The evaluation highlighted Seoul's seamless integration of lush public parks, well-preserved historic sites, and a highly efficient mass transit network. Urban planners noted that navigating this sprawling metropolis on foot has become not only remarkably convenient, but also highly enjoyable. This prestigious ranking is expected to significantly boost the city's appeal to international ecotourists. Vocabulary. Surpass. Verb. 뛰어넘다. 능가하다. Her actual performance surpassed everyone's expectations. Prominent. Adjective. 저명한. 두드러진. A prominent scientist will deliver the keynote speech. Pedestrian. Noun. 보행자. Drivers must always yield to pedestrians at crosswalks. Infrastructure. Noun. 기반시설. Infra. The government is investing heavily in transport infrastructure. Seamless. Adjective. 매끄러운. 끊김없는. The app allows seamless syncing between your phone and laptop. Lush. Adjective. 무성한. 푸르른. The resort is surrounded by lush tropical rainforests. Sprawling. Adjective. 제멋대로 뻗어나가는. Los Angeles is known for its sprawling urban landscape. Prestigious. Adjective. 인류의. 명망 있는. He won a scholarship to a highly prestigious university. 시사용어 해설. Infrastructure. Infra. 도로, 항만, 지하철, 공원 등 사회가 정상적으로 기능하고 사람들이 살아가는데 밑바탕이 되는 필수적인 물리적 시설들을 통틀어 부르는 말입니다. 5-3. Population movement up 6% on property market boom. South Korea's population mobility rate experienced a notable 6.3% increase this April compared to the same month last year, fueled primarily by a booming property market. Data released by Statistics Korea indicated that approximately 506,000 residents actively relocated to new regions across the country. This upward demographic trend directly correlates with a recent, robust rebound in the nation's housing sector. Specifically, the volume of homes bought and sold spiked by 7% year on year, naturally prompting more families to change their permanent residences. Market analysts suggest that recovering consumer confidence is acting as the primary driver behind this dynamic real estate movement. Vocabulary. Mobility. Noun. 이동성, 유동성. Upward social mobility allows people to improve their lives. Fuel. Verb. 부추기다, 동력을 제공하다. Rumors of a merger fueled a sudden jump in stock prices. Relocate. Verb. 이전하다, 이주하다. The multinational company relocated its headquarters to Asia. Demographic. Adjective. 인구 통계학적인. The advertising campaign targeted a younger demographic. Correlate. Verb. 연관성이 있다. High stress levels closely correlate with poor health. Rebound. Noun. 반등, 회복. The tourism industry is seeing a massive post-pandemic rebound. Spike. Verb. 급증하다. Internet traffic spiked during the live broadcast of the game. Dynamic. Adjective. 역동적인, 활발한. The city has a very dynamic and fast-paced business environment. 시사용어 해설. Property market boom. 부동산 시장 활황. 아파트나 상가 같은 부동산을 사려는 수요가 크게 늘어나 거래가 활발해지고 가격이 상승하는 현상을 말합니다. Consumer confidence. 소비자 신뢰. 개인들이 현재와 미래의 경제 상황을 얼마나 긍정적으로 또는 부정적으로 느끼는지를 나타내는 경제 심리 지표입니다. 6. CGTN 61. Chinese government releases white paper on global governance. The Chinese government has officially published a comprehensive white paper titled More Just and Equitable Global Governance, China's Principles, Proposals, and Actions. The document forcefully argues that the contemporary international order is being severely undermined by the outdated law of the jungle, where military and economic might dictates global morality. Beijing firmly advocates for a reformed governance system that amplifies the representation and voices of the global South. By completely rejecting archaic core periphery frameworks and zero-sum mentalities, China aims to construct a collaborative global environment. The paper underscores that true multilateralism is the only viable path to achieving sustainable worldwide peace and development. Vocabulary. Comprehensive. Adjective. 종합적인, 포괄적인. The insurance provides comprehensive coverage for all damages. Dictate. Verb. 지시하다, 좌우하다. Don't let fear dictate the choices you make in life. Advocate. Verb. 주창하다, 옹호하다. The organization advocates for human rights and equality. Representation. Noun. 대표성, 대변. The minority group demanded better political representation. Archaic. Adjective. 구시계, 낡은. The factory relies on archaic machinery that breaks down often. Periphery. Noun. 주변부, 변두리. Urban development is slowly spreading to the city's periphery. Zero-sum. Adjective. 제로섬에. Trade negotiations should not be treated as a zero-sum game. Viable. Adjective. 실행 가능한, 독자 생존 가능한. Solar energy is a viable alternative to burning fossil fuels. 시사용어 해설. Global South, Global South. 주로 남반구에 위치한 아프리카, 중남미, 아시아의 개발도상국들을 묶어서 부르는 정치 경제적 용어입니다. 중국은 스스로를 이들의 리더로 포지셔닝하고 있습니다. White paper, 백서. 정부가 특정한 정책이나 외교적 입장을 국민과 국제사회에 널리 알리고 설명하기 위해 발간하는 공식 보고서입니다. Number 6. 2. China welcomes U.S.-Iran MOU. The Chinese government has publicly expressed its welcoming stance on the recently signed Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the United States and Iran. Beijing acknowledged that this diplomatic breakthrough is a critical step towards de-escalating military tensions that have severely disrupted the Middle East. Chinese officials highlighted that the subsequent reopening of the Strait of Hormuz will immensely benefit the struggling global economy by stabilizing energy supply chains. Furthermore, China urged all involved parties to faithfully execute the agreed terms, particularly the lifting of stringent economic sanctions. Foreign policy analysts view China's endorsement as a push to maintain its own vital economic interests in the region. Vocabulary. Stance. Noun. 입장, 태도. The president maintained a firm stance on national security. De-escalate. Verb. 긴장, 갈등을 완화하다. The UN sent peacekeepers to de-escalate the border conflict. Disrupt. Verb. 방해하다, 지장을 주다. The heavy snowstorm severely disrupted public transportation. Immensely. Adverb. 엄청나게, 대단히. We are immensely grateful for all your hard work. Execute. Verb. 실행하다, 이행하다. The manager failed to execute the planned marketing strategy. Stringent. Adjective. 엄격한, 가혹한. The airline implemented stringent safety regulations. Endorsement. Noun. 지지, 보증. The candidate won the official endorsement of the labor union. Vital. Adjective. 생명과 관련된, 필수적인. Water is vital for the survival of all living organisms. 시사용어 해설. De-escalation. 긴장 완화. 군사적 충돌이나 외교적 분쟁 상태에서 서로 무력 사용을 줄이고 대화로 국면을 전환하여 상황이 악화되는 것을 막는 조치입니다. Economic sanctions. 경제 제재. 국제법을 어긴 국가에게 벌을 주기 위해 무역을 끊거나 금융 거래를 막는 등 경제적으로 고립시키는 외교적 수단입니다. 6.3. Russia claims massive strike on military sites in Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry has claimed responsibility for orchestrating a massive strike targeting key military installations and energy infrastructure across Ukraine. Moscow asserted that the coordinated missile barrages successfully hit their intended tactical targets, aiming to cripple Ukrainian logistical capabilities. In stark contrast, Ukrainian authorities reported that the brutal bombardment resulted in at least 9 civilian casualties and severe damage to historical sites in Kyiv. The intense aerial assault coincided directly with Ukraine's historic commencement of European Union membership talks. International observers interpret this violent escalation as Moscow's deliberate attempt to project power and intimidate Kyiv's Western allies. Vocabulary. Orchestrate. Verb. 조직하다, 조율하다. The rebels tried to orchestrate an attack on the capital. Installation. Noun. 시설, 기지. The military installation was heavily guarded. Barrage. Noun. 일제 사격, 질문 등의 세례. The politician faced a barrage of difficult questions from reporters. Cripple. Verb. 마비시키다, 큰 타격을 주다. The cyber attack threatened to cripple the banking system. Logistical. Adjective. 무유해, 병참해. Supplying the remote island presented a huge logistical challenge. Casualty. Noun. 사상자. Fortunately, there were no civilian casualties in the incident. Deliberate. Adjective. 의도적인, 고의적인. He made a deliberate attempt to hide the financial evidence. Intimidate. Verb. 위협하다, 겁주다. The gang tried to intimidate the witness before the trial. 시사용어 해설. Logistical capabilities. 무유 병참 능력. 전쟁에서 군대가 싸울 수 있도록 식량, 무기, 연료 등을 필요한 곳에 제때 운반하고 공급하는 능력을 뜻합니다. 이곳이 파괴되면 군대는 전투를 지속할 수 없습니다.
7. NHK World Japan. 7.1. Bank of Japan lifts rates to a 31-year high. In a watershed moment for monetary policy, the Bank of Japan, BOJ, decisively raised its policy interest rate from 0.75% to 1.00% during its June meeting. This marks the highest interest rate level the nation has experienced in 31 years, signaling a definitive end to the ultra-loose monetary era. Policymakers justified the hike by citing fading economic risks and an increasing likelihood that underlying inflation will consistently exceed their 2% target. Despite the upward adjustment, The BOJ reassured markets that broad financial conditions will remain accommodative to nurture ongoing economic recovery. Financial analysts widely anticipate another gradual rate increase by the fourth quarter of 2026 if these macroeconomic trends persist. Vocabulary. Watershed. Noun. 분수령, 중요한 전환점. The discovery was a watershed moment in medical history. Decisively. Adverb. 단호하게, 결정적으로. The commander acted decisively to win the battle. Ultra loose. Adjective. 초완화적인. The central bank's ultra loose policy led to soaring asset prices. Justify. Verb. 정당화하다, 해명하다. You cannot justify violent behavior under any circumstances. Underlying. Adjective. 근본적인, 기저의. We must address the underlying causes of social inequality. Accommodative. Adjective. 금융정책이 완화적인. Accommodative policies help businesses secure cheaper loans. Nurture. Verb. 육성하다, 키우다. The program is designed to nurture young tech talents. Persist. Verb. 지속되다. If the pain persists for more than a week, consult a doctor. 시사용어 해설. Policy interest rate. 기준금리. 한 나라의 중앙은행이 다른 시중은행들과 돈을 거래할 때 기준으로 삼는 이자율입니다. 일본이 31년 만에 금리를 이만큼 올렸다는 것은 길었던 경제 침체를 벗어나 물가가 오르기 시작했다는 가장 강력한 증거입니다. 언더라잉 인플레이션, 근원 물가 상승률. 갑자기 날씨 탓에 가격이 뛰는 농산물이나 국제 유가처럼 변동이 심한 품목을 빼고 실제 경제의 기초 체력으로 인해 오르는 물가 수준을 뜻합니다.
7-2. Cyberdyne's disaster prevention wearable cyborg featured on NHK. Cyberdyne's cutting-edge disaster prevention technologies, specifically the wearable cyborg suit known as HAL, have been prominently featured on NHK World Japan's program BOSAI. The broadcast demonstrated how these advanced robotic exoskeletons are actively deployed to assist emergency responders in arduous field operations. By reading bioelectric nerve signals, the suit intuitively amplifies human strength, drastically reducing the physical strain on firefighters carrying heavy equipment. Furthermore, integrated vital sign sensors enable remote commanders to monitor the health conditions of the crew in real time. This cybernetics breakthrough illustrates how physical AI can revolutionize workplace safety in life-threatening environments. Vocabulary. Cutting edge. Adjective. 최첨단의. The laboratory is equipped with cutting-edge medical devices. Exoskeleton. Noun. 외골격. Robot chute. The worker used a powered exoskeleton to lift heavy steel beams. Deploy. Verb. 투입하다. 배치하다. The UN decided to deploy peacekeepers to the conflict zone. Arduous. Adjective. 고된. 몹시 힘든. Climbing the Himalayas is a physically arduous task. Intuitively. Adverb. 직관적으로. The software interface is intuitively designed for beginners. Amplify. Verb. 증폭시키다. 키우다. The microphone amplified his voice so everyone could hear. Strain. Noun. 부담. 압박. The long hours placed a heavy strain on his mental health. Revolutionize. Verb. 혁명적으로 변화시키다. Artificial intelligence will revolutionize the healthcare industry. 시사용어 해설. Exoskeleton. 외골격. wearable 로봇. 곤충의 단단한 껍질처럼 사람이 몸 밖으로 옷처럼 입어서 근력을 보조해주거나 무거운 짐을 쉽게 들 수 있게 해주는 입는 로봇 기기입니다. 보사이, 방제. 지진과 쓰나미 등 자연재해가 잦은 일본에서 재해를 미리 예방하고 피해를 최소화하는 모든 시스템과 활동을 뜻하는 단어의 일본어 발음입니다. 7-3. NHK World Radio Japan broadcasts English news globally. NHK World Radio Japan continues to deliver its comprehensive English news broadcasts to a global audience, releasing multiple updated episodes daily. The service provides timely coverage of critical international developments, such as the recent G7 summit in France and the historic US-Iran ceasefire agreement. By offering a unique Asian perspective on global geopolitics, the broadcaster serves as an essential information hub for expatriates and international observers. In regions experiencing severe conflict or strict censorship, these audio transmissions often act as a resilient lifeline for objective news. Media experts emphasize that maintaining such diverse international broadcasting channels is vital for global press freedom. Vocabulary. Comprehensive. Adjective. 종합적인, 포괄적인. The textbook offers a comprehensive guide to web development. Coverage. Noun. 언론의 보도, 취재. The network provided live coverage of the presidential election. Critical. Adjective. 대단히 중요한, 위태로운. Access to clean water is critical for public health. Geopolitics. Noun. 지정학. Understanding geopolitics is key to predicting trade wars. Expatriate. Noun. 국외 거주자. A large community of American expatriates lives in Tokyo. Censorship. Noun. 검열. The authoritarian regime imposed strict internet censorship. Resilient. Adjective. 회복력 있는, 탄력 있는. Children are often more resilient to trauma than adults. Objective. Adjective. 객관적인. A judge must remain completely objective during a trial. 시사용어 해설. Geopolitics. 지정학. 지리적 위치나 환경이 한 국가의 정치, 외교, 경제적 힘에 어떤 영향을 미치는지 분석하는 학문입니다. 예, 호르무즈 해협의 지정학적 중요성. Shortwave radio, audio transmissions. 단파 라디오, 오디오 송출. 인터넷이 끊기거나 국가가 통신을 막아버린 독재 전쟁 국가에서도 먼 거리를 날아가는 전파를 이용해 바깥 세상의 뉴스를 들을 수 있게 해주는 중요한 매체입니다. 8. Al Jazeera. 8-1. U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber crashes after takeoff, killing 8. A United States Air Force B-52 Stratofortress bomber has crashed in the California desert, tragically resulting in the deaths of all 8 personnel on board. The long-range military aircraft was conducting a routine test mission for a radar modernization program when it plunged into the ground shortly after takeoff. Military officials at Edwards Air Force Base described the devastating impact as a fiery, unsurvivable disaster. The diverse crew consisted of active-duty military members and civilian defense contractors. A rigorous investigation is currently underway to ascertain the exact cause of the mechanical failure, a process that authorities caution could take up to 6 months. Vocabulary. Personnel. Noun. 조직의 인원, 직원. Only authorized military personnel can enter the base. Routine. Adjective. 일상적인, 정기적인. The machine requires routine maintenance to prevent breakdowns. Plunge. Verb. 곤두박질치다, 급락하다. The stock market plunged heavily after the bad news. Devastating. Adjective. 파괴적인, 치명적인. The hurricane had a devastating effect on the coastal town. Unsurvivable. Adjective. 생존 불가능한. The impact of the head-on collision was unsurvivable. Contractor. Noun. 보급업자, 계약자. The government hired a private contractor to build the bridge. Rigorous. Adjective. 엄격한, 철저한. The athletes must pass a rigorous fitness test. Ascertain. Verb. 알아내다, 규명하다. The police are trying to ascertain the true cause of the fire. B-52 Stratofortress. Stratofortress. 미국 공군이 1955년부터 운용해온 전설적인 초대형 전략 폭격기입니다. 매우 무거운 폭탄과 핵무기를 싣고 대륙을 건너 비행할 수 있어 미국의 군사력을 상징합니다. 8-2. Trump, Pezeshkian sign U.S.-Iran MOU to end war. U.S. President Donald Trump and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian have officially signed a diplomatic memorandum of understanding to halt ongoing hostilities. Mediated through international channels, the agreement was finalized electronically and features 14 specific points. Most notably, the MOU commits to unfreezing Iranian assets and establishing a massive $300 billion post-war reconstruction fund in exchange for ensuring maritime security in the Strait of Hormuz. While global financial markets reacted exuberantly to the prospect of normalized oil flows, profound skepticism lingers. Tensions remain high as stakeholders question whether the fragile ceasefire will withstand the ongoing separate military operations by Israel in Lebanon. Vocabulary. Halt. Verb. 중단시키다. 멈추다. The court ordered the company to halt all construction work. Mediate. Verb. 중재하다. The UN attempted to mediate a peace deal between the rivals. Unfreeze. Verb. 종결을 해제하다. The government agreed to unfreeze the dictator's hidden bank accounts. Maritime. Adjective. 바다에, 해상에. Protecting maritime trade routes is vital for the global economy. Exuberantly. Adverb. 열광적으로, 넘쳐 흐르게. The crowd cheered exuberantly when the home team scored. Skepticism. Noun. 회의론, 의심. Her wild claims were met with deep skepticism by scientists. Linger. Verb. 예상보다 오래 남다, 맴돌다. The smell of the perfume lingered in the room for hours. Fragile. Adjective. 취약한, 깨지기 쉬운. The fragile ceasefire was broken after just 2 days. 시사용어 해설. Unfreezing assets. 자산 동결 해제. 경제 지지를 받아 외국 은행에 압류되거나 묶여있던 특정 국가, 여기서는 이란의 국가 돈을 다시 꺼내어 쓸 수 있게 허락해주는 외교적 거래입니다. Post-War Reconstruction Fund. 전후 재건 기금. 전쟁으로 파괴된 인프라, 건물, 도로, 병원 등을 다시 짓고 경제를 회복시키는 데 쓰기 위해 모아둔 막대한 규모의 자금입니다. 8-3. Protests erupt outside G7 summit in France. Violent clashes have erupted between riot police and throngs of anti-globalization protesters just outside the G7 summit venues. Thousands of angry demonstrators flooded the streets to protest global leaders' perceived inaction on catastrophic climate change, widening wealth inequality, and ongoing Middle Eastern conflicts. What began as a peaceful march quickly deteriorated into chaos as fringe groups hurled projectiles and set barricades ablaze. In response, security forces heavily deployed tear gas and powerful water cannons to disperse the unruly crowds and forcefully restore public order. The dramatic, fiery protests vividly illustrate a growing global disconnect between the political elite and frustrated citizens demanding systemic reform. Vocabulary. Erupt. Verb. 분출하다, 폭동이 일어나다. A massive riot erupted after the controversial verdict was announced. Throng. Noun. 군중, 인파. A huge throng of fans gathered outside the stadium. Inaction. Noun. 무대책, 행동하지 않음. The government's inaction worsened the economic crisis. Deteriorate. Verb. 악화되다. The patient's health began to deteriorate rapidly overnight. Hurl. Verb. 세게 던지다. Protesters hurled rocks at the armored police vehicles. Projectile. Noun. 발사체, 투척물. The crowd threw bottles and other dangerous projectiles. Disperse. Verb. 해산시키다. Riot police used tear gas to disperse the violent mob. Unruly. Adjective. 다루기 힘든, 제멋대로 구는. The teacher struggled to control the unruly students. Finally. Anti-globalization, 반세계화. 강대국과 초국적 기업들이 자유무역과 자본주의를 전 세계로 확장하는 세계화가 결국 가난한 나라를 착취하고 환경을 파괴한다고 주장하며 이를 반대하는 움직임입니다. G7 같은 선진국 회의가 열릴 때마다 이런 단체들의 거센 시위가 일어납니다. 9. CBC Canada. 9-1. Technical Safety BC probes water park electrical incident. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, have formally announced that criminality is not suspected following a highly distressing electrical incident at a British Columbia water park. 12 middle school students were rushed to the hospital after suffering electrical shocks while queuing for a popular water slide at Cultus Lake Water Park. Authorities reassured the public that none of the injuries were life-threatening, and the young patients are recovering well. Technical Safety BC, a specialized provincial regulatory agency, has now assumed full control of the investigation to pinpoint the exact mechanical failure. This alarming malfunction has prompted urgent calls for stricter routine maintenance and rigorous safety inspections at all recreational facilities. Vocabulary: criminality, noun, 범죄성, 범죄 행위. The investigation revealed no evidence of corporate criminality. Distressing, adjective, 고통스러운, 괴로움을 주는. The news of the earthquake was deeply distressing. Queue, verb, 줄을 서다. People had to queue for hours to buy the new smartphone. Reassure, verb, 안심시키다. The doctor reassured the patient that the surgery was safe. Pinpoint, verb, 정확히 찾아내다. It is difficult to pinpoint the exact cause of the disease. Alarming, adjective, 걱정스러운, 두려운. There has been an alarming increase in youth crime. Malfunction, noun, 오작동, 고장. The engine crashed due to a sudden mechanical malfunction. Maintenance, noun, 유지 보수, 정비. Regular car maintenance helps prevent unexpected breakdowns. 시사 용어 해설, RCMP, 캐나다 연방경찰. 캐나다 전역의 치안을 담당하는 최고 경찰기관으로 붉은 제복과 챙이 넓은 모자를 쓰고 말을 타는 기마경찰, 망티스 이미지로 전 세계적으로 유명합니다. Provincial Regulatory Agency, 주정부 규제기관. 캐나다는 영토가 거대하여 각 주, province, 정부가 강력한 자치권을 가집니다. 따라서 놀이공원, 전기 안전 등의 세부 규정은 연방정부가 아닌 주정부 기관이 담당합니다. Number 9. 2. Carney pitches North American trade partnership at G7. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney engaged in high-stakes diplomacy directly with U.S. President Donald Trump at the G7 summit in Evian, France. Carney proactively pitched a revamped North American trade partnership, striving to insulate vulnerable Canadian industries from Trump's threatened protective tariffs. The meeting drew intense media attention when a hot mic accidentally captured the two leaders candidly brainstorming strategies to block cheap Chinese electric vehicles from flooding their domestic markets. Beyond trade, Carney publicly applauded the ongoing U.S.-Iran peace negotiations, emphasizing their necessity for global stability. Despite looming anxieties over trade barriers, Carney confidently assured Canadians that forging a mutually beneficial economic agreement remains highly feasible. Vocabulary: high stakes. Adjective: 중대한, 사활이 걸린. The CEO entered into high-stakes negotiations with a rival firm. Proactively. Adverb: 선제적으로, 주도적으로. Companies must proactively address cybersecurity threats. Revamp. Verb: 개편하다, 뜯어고치다. The school completely revamped its outdated science curriculum. Insulate. Verb: 절연하다, 보호하다, 격리하다. You need to insulate the house well to save on heating bills. Candidly. Adverb: 솔직하게, 숨김없이. She spoke candidly about her past failures and lessons learned. Applaud. Verb: 박수갈채를 보내다, 지지하다. We applaud the charity's efforts to provide clean drinking water. Looming. Adjective: 위험이 어렴풋이 다가오는. Everyone is stressed out by the looming deadline. Feasible. Adjective: 실현 가능한. Building a bridge across the bay is not economically feasible. 시사용어 해설. Hot mic. 행사 중 카메라나 마이크가 꺼진 줄 착각하고 정치인들이 사적으로 나눈 속마음 대화가 그대로 녹음되어 대중에게 방송되는 사고를 말합니다. Protective tariffs. 보호 관세. 자국 내의 기업들이 외국 기업과의 경쟁에서 밀려 파산하는 것을 막기 위해 수입되는 외국산 물건에 세금을 아주 비싸게 매겨 가격을 올리는 무역 장벽입니다. 9.3. Parliamentary Committee recommends pausing MAID expansion. A special parliamentary committee in Canada has officially recommended that the federal government indefinitely pause the scheduled expansion of medical assistance in dying, MAID. The controversial expansion would have allowed individuals whose sole underlying condition is a mental illness to access physician-assisted suicide. According to insider sources, the committee concluded that the medical and systemic conditions necessary for safe, equitable, and properly assessed implementation simply cannot be met at this time. Advocates argue that those suffering from intractable mental anguish deserve the same autonomy as patients with physical illnesses. Conversely, psychiatrists and disability advocates warned that rushing the expansion could lead to vulnerable people choosing death over inadequate mental health treatments. Vocabulary. Indefinitely. Adverb. 무기한으로. The music festival has been postponed indefinitely due to the virus. Expansion. Noun. 확대. 확장. The expansion of the highway will reduce traffic jams. Controversial. Adjective. 논란이 많은. The government passed a highly controversial tax reform bill. Sole. Adjective. 유일한. 단독의. His sole purpose in life was to become a famous musician. Underline. Adjective. 기저에. 근본적인. Obesity is often an underlying cause of heart disease. Equitable. Adjective. 공평한. 정당한. The UN strives to build an equitable society for all races. Intractable. Adjective. 고집스러운. 난치성애. The patient is suffering from an intractable chronic pain. Autonomy. Noun. 자율성. 자치권. Teachers want more autonomy in choosing their classroom materials. 시사용어 해설. MAID. Medical Assistance in Dying. 캐나다에서 시행 중인 의료 조력 사망 제도로 극심한 고통을 겪고 회복 불가능한 질병을 가진 환자가 의사의 도움을 받아 스스로 생명 연장을 포기, 안락사할 수 있도록 합법화한 제도입니다. Parliamentary Committee. 의회위원회. 국회의원들이 모여 특정한 법안이나 사회적 이슈를 전문적으로 깊이 연구하고 법을 어떻게 바꿀지 정부에 권고안을 내는 소그룹입니다.
10. DD India. 10.1. Bharat Innovates 2026 concludes in Nice, France. The Bharat Innovates 2026 Summit, recognized as the Indian government's flagship international innovation event, has successfully concluded its 3-day run in Nice, France. The dynamic gathering featured extensive technology showcases, high-level investor engagements, and strategic B2B business meetings. Union Minister Piyush Goyal, addressing the valedictory session, emphasized that the summit powerfully demonstrates India's growing strength as a global hub for research-driven deep tech entrepreneurship. The event vividly reflects the collaborative vision behind the India-France Year of Innovation 2026. Officials are confident that this initiative will rapidly evolve into a transformative platform, boldly encouraging young Indian innovators to step onto the global stage. Vocabulary. Flagship. Noun. 주력 상품, 대표 행사. The new electric car is the company's flagship product. Extensive. Adjective. 광범위한, 대규모의. The tornado caused extensive damage to the small town. Valedictory. Adjective. 고별의, 졸업생 대표의. The outgoing president gave a moving valedictory speech. Driven. Adjective. 뭐뭐 중심의, 주도하는. Silicon Valley is a technology-driven economic ecosystem. Entrepreneurship. Noun. 기업가 정신, 창업. The college offers a master's degree in business and entrepreneurship. Vividly. Adverb. 생생하게, 선명하게. I vividly remember the day we first met at the park. Collaborative. Adjective. 협력적인. The research paper was a highly collaborative effort by 3 universities. Transformative. Adjective. 혁신적인, 변화를 일으키는. The internet has been a transformative force in human history. 시사용어 해설. 딥텍, 딥테크. 공학이나 과학 분야에 깊이 있는 연구, 인공지능, 우주공학, 생명공학 등을 바탕으로 세상을 근본적으로 바꿀 만한 매우 난이도 높은 원천 기술을 말합니다. B2B, 비즈니스 투 비즈니스. 기업이 일반 개인 소비자에게 물건을 파는 것, B2C. 가 아니라 부품이나 소프트웨어 등을 다른 기업에게 판매하는 기업 간의 거래를 뜻합니다.
10-2. U.S.-India relations cannot be closer, says Trump. Following a productive sideline meeting at the G7 summit, U.S. President Donald Trump described the strategic relationship between the United States and India as stronger than ever. Trump enthusiastically signaled that the two economic powerhouses are extremely close to finalizing a comprehensive bilateral trade agreement. He lavished praise on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's personality and leadership, affectionately dubbing him a nice man who is simultaneously a killer and an extraordinarily tough negotiator. These flattering and highly personalized remarks underscore the rapidly deepening security and economic partnership between Washington and New Delhi. Geopolitical analysts widely view this strengthened alliance as a crucial mutual effort to counter China's expanding influence in the Indo-Pacific. Vocabulary. Sideline. Noun. 부대 행사. 측면. The diplomats met on the sidelines of the main UN conference. Finalize. Verb. 최종적으로 마무리하다. The lawyers are meeting today to finalize the divorce papers. Comprehensive. Adjective. 포괄적인, 종합적인. The mechanic did a comprehensive check of the car's engine. Lavish. Verb. 아낌없이 주다, 칭찬하다. The critics lavished praise on the actor's amazing performance. Simultaneously. Adverb. 동시에. The game will be broadcast simultaneously on TV and the internet. Flattering. Adjective. 칭찬하는, 돋보이게 하는. He made a very flattering remark about her new dress. Underscore. Verb. 강조하다, 밑줄을 긋다. The recent tragedy underscores the absolute need for better safety rules. Counter. Verb. 반격하다, 견제하다. The army launched a surprise attack to counter the enemy's advance. 시사용어 해설. 양자 무역 협정. 두 나라가 서로 물건을 수출하고 수입할 때 부과하는 세금, 관세를 줄이거나 없애서 양쪽 모두 경제적 이익을 얻기로 맺는 공식 계약입니다. 인도 태평양. 태평양과 인도양을 아우르는 지역을 뜻합니다. 최근 미국과 동맹국들이 중국의 해양 팽창을 견제하기 위해 아시아 태평양 대신 즐겨 쓰는 지정학적 핵심 용어입니다. 10-3. PM Modi proposes Impact Initiative at G7 Summit. Addressing the prestigious G7 outreach session in Avian, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi forcefully advocated for inclusive and sustainable global economic growth. He asserted that the true measure of humanity's progress is defined by how widely and fairly developmental benefits are shared. During his impactful speech, Modi formally proposed the Impact Initiative, a strategic framework designed to accelerate connectivity, trade, and technology transfers, specifically across Africa, Latin America, and the Pacific Islands. He also reaffirmed India's unwavering commitment to the massive India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, or IMEC. By championing these transformative mega-projects, India deliberately positions itself as a pivotal leader and vocal champion for the entire global South. Vocabulary. Advocate. Verb. 주창하다, 지지하다. Environmentalists strongly advocate for reducing plastic usage. Inclusive. Adjective. 포용적인, 모든 것을 포함하는. The new policy aims to create a more inclusive and equal society. Accelerate. Verb. 가속하다, 앞당기다. The new highway will accelerate the delivery of goods to the city. Connectivity. Noun. 연결성. Upgrading the cell towers will improve internet connectivity. Reaffirm. Verb. 재확인하다. The president reaffirmed his promise to cut taxes next year. Unwavering. Adjective. 변함없는, 확고한. She thanked her parents for their unwavering love and support. Champion. Verb. 앞장서서 옹호하다. He has long championed the rights of the disabled community. Deliberately. Adverb. 의도적으로. The suspect deliberately destroyed the security camera footage. 시사용어 해설. Economic corridor. 경제 회랑. 고속도로, 철도, 항만 등의 교통망과 통신,
에너지망을 하나의 거대한 띠처럼 이어버려 여러 국가 간의 무역과 물류를 폭발적으로 증가시키는 거대 인프라 프로젝트입니다. 예를 들어 아이맥, 글로벌 사우스, 글로벌 사우스. 경제적으로 발전한 북반구 국가들에 대비하여 주로 남반구에 위치한 아프리카, 아시아, 중남미의 신흥국과 개발도상국들을 묶어서 부르는 국제정치 용어입니다.